Hello folks, today is Friday, July 19th, 2024. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here at home today to talk about all the gaming news that has been going on this week. There's a lot of stuff to jump into. I'm just looking at my list right now, so we should just dive right in with the first thing. A major open world Ubisoft franchise might be making a comeback. Now, that might not immediately sound too exciting for some of you, but if you're a little bit more old school like I am, it's the Driver series. Yes, the Driver series has been in headlines this week, specifically because Ubisoft confirmed that they have scrapped their plans for making a Driver live-action series. Yeah, apparently that was a thing. I didn't know either. They had partnered with a streaming platform to get it going, but it apparently never got off the ground, and they cut down their kind of movie corporation subsidiary that was apparently trying to usher this into existence. That, I shit you not, this subsidiary, this company was called Hot Rod Tanner LLC. It's like a reference from the game. Tanner is the guy from the Driver games. If you told me that there was a company called Hot Rod Tanner LLC, I would not believe you. But it was dissolved in January according to VGC, so that's not a thing anymore. But with this whole thing, they confirmed to Stephen Totillo's game file that they are not moving forward with their partnership for a Driver series. But the quote is, "We are actively working on other exciting projects related to the franchise and can't wait to share more information in the future." Now, that's not much. That could be as little as they're just working on a mobile game. That could be they're just super early in the conceptual stages. But I'm holding out hope that like Driver will make a comeback, because it's been since I think 2011 with Driver San Francisco. That was a really long time ago, and that ended on a high note. That was actually a pretty cool kind of different spin on the series. But I look at Ubisoft now with them reportedly kind of putting Watch Dogs on ice for a while. There's a void that needs to be filled with kind of like an open world city adventure style game, a Grand Theft Auto style game, but for Ubisoft, even if only vaguely so. And Driver fills that corner, that niche for them. So it does really feel like, in my opinion, Driver is primed to return, but I am also biased because I love the old games. I remember playing the first one. So like, I obviously want to see stuff like this return, but I'm also nostalgic to a fault. So I want to know from you guys in the comments if you've played any Driver games, but if you would like to see that make a comeback. It would probably be revamped, be different, but I think it's not only it just being like a driving series, so to speak, or like an open world crime adventure thing, but the fact that Driver itself has always felt itself kind of rooted in classic cinema, car chase cinema, heavily inspired by things like Bullet and heist films. That's what I think makes it stand out a little bit more. So I'm hoping that they can capitalize on that, really go with that, but who knows? This could be a nothing burger at any point. You know, the corporation obviously owns the trademark, the IP, so of course they want to say, oh yeah, we got plans. Maybe they don't, I don't know, but I'm just glad Driver popped up in headlines. And next up, some small Witcher updates. CD Projekt Red's Pavel Sesko did go on record on the Flow podcast, essentially stating that a lot of their projects are still very early in the works, specifically that Witcher 1 remake, as well as the Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, of course. They're still kind of building up a studio for that, but apparently their project that is The Witcher 4 is the most advanced, with it apparently kicking into full production soon. So it's still not even totally 100% in the works by a full team, but it's the closest to getting to that point. So it's still probably going to be a very long time before we play the next thing from CD Projekt Red, but here's hoping whatever it may be, it releases in a good state and is not messy like how Cyberpunk was, and is just a good game and everybody's happy. All I can do is hope for the best, man. Please, God. But if you do want to check this stuff out, everything I talk about, all the news and stuff, it'll be linked in the description down below. And in case you missed it, apparently there was a Crash Bandicoot 5 in the works. Yep, that was now seemingly confirmed by a former Toys for Bob developer that tweeted about a long-rumored project called Project Dragon that was in the works, but a lot of people were speculating that was going to be a new Spyro game, but this developer confirmed that it was not Spyro, and I quote, "But someday folks will hear about the Crash 5 that never was, and it's gonna break hearts." So apparently, yes, there was something Crash related in the works and it was canceled. We don't know how far along in development it was. It could have just been in the idea or conceptual phase, but I will say my heart is already broken because I thought Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, was a really good step in the right direction. It felt like a good return to form, like Crash Bandicoot was back, but it also kind of in the back of my heart felt like this was it. for the franchise. And I guess I was right, because with the Activision Blizzard acquisition and Toys for Bob going in one way, and then seemingly Xbox being very busy with other things and not Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon, this doesn't totally surprise me, but still, the bummer. But shifting over to things that are in development, let's talk Netflix. Netflix's gaming business is still considered by them to be, and I quote, quite small, but they have confirmed during their latest earnings call that they have over 80 games in development, and they're planning to release one each month. Now, that leads to a lot of questions. Of course, what caliber of games, what quality of games. And in my mind, in terms of like the studios that they've absorbed or purchased and what they have going on, I expect a mix. I know they have been working on some bigger games, but with 80 plus games in development, that to me sounds like they're focusing on smaller experiences. And again, they're also probably considering more games that are easily playable on your TV with your remote control, so your grandpa can play them. Now, of course, we're hearing it from the horse's mouth, from Netflix's mouth, which you can never totally trust the corporation when they're talking about how good their numbers are. But they did say that they set growth targets and they've actually met them and exceeded them with the gaming stuff. But still, it started from absolutely nothing and the growth is still probably slow. It's very interesting. And I think Netflix is just really good at spending money at this point. It's just like what they do. So I don't know if Netflix is going to become the next big AAA publisher, but I wonder if will get to a point where it kind of disrupts things a little bit, kind of like how mobile gaming is. I mean, mobile gaming changed everything. It's massive, but with Netflix injecting games onto TVs where everybody already has access to that platform, I don't know, there is something interesting there. Are they going to be the types of games that like us, the hardcore weirdo gamer crowd, enjoys? I don't know, but it's just something I'm keeping my eye on. Next up, before we move on, this episode is brought to you by NordVPN. If you're new around here, you just need to know that NordVPN is the #1 thing we install on all our machines here at gameranx, my personal computer, my phone, for online security. With NordVPN, you switch it on, and that's it. You're protected. And all your data stays safe behind a wall of next-generation encryption. But besides the security features with a VPN, you can actually have a lot of fun with it. Because it allows you to essentially change your location, you can potentially get access to streaming services that just offer different content in different regions. You might access your favorite streamer and see one lineup of movies for the US, but switch it to somewhere in Europe and you may get access to more. Whatever you end up doing with NordVPN, it's super easy to set up on all your machines, and it's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So right now, the best deal online is through our link you can click in the description down below. Every purchase of a 2-year NordVPN plan will get an exclusive discount plus an additional 4 months free. But NordVPN is celebrating the summer. Just in time for summer travel, you'll get a voucher for up to 20 gigabytes of data on Saley. This is a new eSIM data service from the team at Nord. That's 20 gigs of cell data with this promotion. Some of the normal providers don't even give you that on a regular plan. So once again, for all that, just head to nordvpn.com/gameranx or click the link in the description down below. And big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Hey, but don't worry, we got some cool stuff to talk about, like Mrs. Freeze finally being revealed for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was actually being given away for free, I believe, with some of the Amazon Prime Day stuff, which, side note, it was actually like the first good Amazon Prime Day in years. I bought like a charger and some Hue lights. Usually Prime Day is always just like shitty bags of chips or crappy Chinese knockoffs on discount. This year it was actually pretty good. Anyway, tangent aside, yes, so you can get Suicide Squad for free if you did. And now July 25th, the season of Frozen Hearts is releasing, and it's kind of just like more, more of this stuff, more of the same grind. But if you get the Mrs. Freeze character, they revealed a little bit of gameplay of her, and her traversal is pretty cool. I gotta say, once again, Suicide Squad, one of the only good things about it was the character traversal systems, and she's cruising around on ice. It's funny, they had a lot of other DC characters they could have used for this role, but they went with like a girl Mr. Freeze. Kind of like an Elseworlds thing. Kind of cool, but yeah, am I gonna play it? Probably not, but I wanted to point it out because some people did stick with this. It is a reportedly very small number of people, but yeah, there you go. Moving on over to some quick game announcements. Splitgate 2 is a thing. Splitgate, a couple years back, you probably remember, was the first-person shooter with Portal, essentially, like a combo. So it was a competitive first-person shooter where you could launch portals, go through them. It was a really great idea. People absolutely loved it, but it was short-lived. But they have apparently turned their focus to this, making a bigger, more AAA experience, taking that idea, pushing it to the next level. And now we have this big flashy trailer for Splitgate 2, which doesn't show us too much, but to be honest, I'm just glad the game is going to exist because it was a cool idea. Along with that, Nintendo was teasing like a creepy game, leading to a lot of speculation, and now it has been revealed that it is a new Famicom Detective Club game, Emio, the Smiling Man. There's like a long 20-minute developer deep dive on that if you're curious. And now, new releases for this week. The first one is a weird one, okay? But just stick with me. It's going kind of viral. It's called Clickolding. So The initial reveal trailer for this was like a scary man in a motel room points a gun at you and forces you to just click endlessly. It's creepy. It's weird. It seems like people are kind of digging it. It's kind of an experimental, weirder game. So if you want to try something different, it's only a couple of bucks. Along with that, releasing this week, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. I did the before you buy review for this one. It is generic. The main character and the story is pretty forgettable, but gameplay wise, as a kind of God of War Souls-like mashup, I found it kind of fun to play. Still, it is like the perfect like poster child for like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 game. So, you know, if it goes on discount or if you're just curious on Game Pass, maybe check it out, but I don't know. There are other things out there. Like it's more specifically Angerfoot. I missed this last week, but yeah, Angerfoot is out now. It's like an intense, crazy over-the-top first-person shooter, very fast-paced, that publisher Devolver Digital has been working on for a long time now, and it does finally seem awesome and worth the hype. Also, Capcom's newest game, Capcom going on a little bit of a different path here with Kunitsu, Path of the Goddess. This is actually a little bit more of like a brawler tower defense game than like an action combat game. That being said, it's dropping today and it seems like people are digging it. There is a demo on Steam if you're curious, and reviews are out there as well. Also, college football. This is huge. And that might sound crazy to you, knowing that I am not a sports person and I've barely ever covered sports video games except for a select few. But college football is significant because it's a return, man. It's been a long time since a college football game has been. I mean, I remember playing the NCAA games. I liked them. That might sound crazy to you, but like, I don't know, just different time, different games. So now it's back. People are jumping into this weekend. And people are really excited, and you can't help but be excited for them. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come and just a little bit of an alternative football franchise for people, you know, other than Madden every year. I think that's healthy. Also, on Nintendo Switch, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition dropped. Apparently there is a physical copy, which is cool, but this is just a fun idea, a good collection of games. I have seen some complaints with how like the internet connection and like kind of lack of some leaderboard stuff works, but I don't know. I'm going to try and check it out for myself at some point because, again, I think the idea is just really fun here. So if you want to check out the full trailer, all these will be linked in the description down below. But we got to talk about entertainment news, of course. The newest thing, Variety is reporting that the Halo show has been canceled. Yes, after season 2, apparently it just didn't get enough steam, and Paramount Plus has officially confirmed that they are no longer moving forward with the series. You hate to see it. Or do you? I don't know. I was not a fan of the show. I gave it a shot. I watched the whole first season, some of the second season, just wasn't really very into it, except for a couple of little bits of action here and there. But for them to miss the mark on this is so upsetting because it was like a lot of people behind this. Obviously, the weight of Microsoft, Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment. They have been trying to get Halo things off the ground since the original Halo popped off back in the day with huge names involved, Hollywood scrambling for this thing. And finally, years later, all we got was this kind of wet fart of a television show. That is such a shame. And now with this report from Variety, they are stating that, and I quote, according to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Xbox, Amblin TV, and 343 will try to shop the series to other outlets. I disagree with this at this point. Like, it wasn't a marketing thing. The show was marketed. It was out there. People were aware of it. It just seems like people weren't enjoying it enough. So I say, take a break, take the L here, come back in a couple of years and try again. Make a totally different show. Go for what the game's established more so. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm just like an armchair guy. I'm just sitting here talking shit. Either way, though, that is the gaming news this week. So I do want to know what you're thinking with everything we talked about, from Netflix having 80 games in development. Do you think any of those games are worth your time? To Driver returning? Maybe. I don't know. But also, The Witcher 4 finally almost getting somewhere. Crash Bandicoot 5 no longer being a thing. Splitgate 2. What do you think about this stuff? Let's chat in the comments. I definitely want to hear from you. If you want to yell at me directly, of course, you can always find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Jake Baldino. If you're looking for news that isn't just on Friday, I'm putting out a news show over there every Wednesday where I just talk about like 1 or 2 topics I go in depth on. So check that out if you want. But either way, hit me up about all this stuff, all this news. We'll be down in the comments as much as possible, but again, you know where to find me. Clicking the like button does help the show. We're here every Friday to get you caught up. I never miss a week, so thank you. But all I ask now is you have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.